Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of my all-time favorite shows. From comedy to character development, I consider this series a masterpiece. And today, I'm here to count down my top 5 favorite episodes. A quick disclaimer, I did consider all season finales and multi-part episodes as single units.
Video contains major spoilers.
In my eyes, this episode is a reflection of the series up until this point. A mere episode before the start of the season finale, we witness Team Avatar watching a Fire Nation play that's written about themselves. Although it's extremely goofy, it genuinely gives viewers a recap of the gang's adventures up until that point, all the while making us laugh like crazy. We get to see how the main characters view themselves and their actions, which is really fun, especially when it comes to Zuko. Although some people may consider this a filler episode, I think it's crucial to setting up the show's end. In my opinion, this episode defines everything that Season 2 represents. In Season 1, the story is dedicated to introducing the characters and laying out the setting. In Season 3, a lot of time is given to setting up the final showdown. But in Season 2, we really see the meat and potatoes of the show. There's a continuous tension between Toph and Katara that sets up for how they both grow as characters throughout the series. It's one of the first episodes where we get to see how Zuko has morality, plus Toph and Iroh have a discussion over tea. The last part is something I really want to talk about. Both Toph and Iroh are, to a certain degree, separated from the conflict between Team Avatar and Zuko. Yes, they both aid their respective accomplices, but they aren't in a feud with one another, particularly because Toph is new to the group. I love this because it gives a fresh perspective on both characters as we see them outside of a competitive environment, interacting with each other as simply people. The episode is dramatic, dynamic, and developmentally interesting among multiple characters. I can remember watching this episode back when it premiered in 2007, and wow. All I can say is wow. I think I was really spoiled as a 6-year-old growing up in a time where we had such an amazing, story-driven show. The episode that preceded the Western Air Temple ended with Zuko following Team Avatar, and it's heavily hinted that he's going in attempts to join them as an ally. It was one of the few moments I've genuinely gasped watching a TV show, and I envy little kid me because I'll never get to experience that twist again. For the first time, that is. The time in between the premiere of The Day of Black Sun Part 2 and the Western Air Temple felt like an eternity, which is why I think I still cherish this episode so much. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, and we can only hope that it will be as exciting as we imagine it to be. I don't think any of us were disappointed. The episode begins with Zuko hilariously practicing how he's going to tell the gang that he wants to join them. He then mimics his family members, attempting to give himself advice. When we eventually see Zuko approach Aang and his friends, we see the gang act with absolute shock, as expected. And the rest of the episode is dedicated to Zuko trying to convince them that it isn't some elaborate trick to capture Aang. As viewers, we shift perspectives constantly. For almost the entire series up to that point, we viewed Zuko as the main antagonist, thinking and looking from the perspective of Team Avatar. But suddenly, we're hit with this extreme empathy for the prince, as he begins to show real emotion and thoughtfulness towards the gang. The buildup of confusion, anger, and instability we see him deal with results in this episode as an emotional and frustrated determination to convince the group that he's on their side. The entire thing is beautifully done, and it leaves you with an anticipation for how the rest of the series is going to play out. Of course this episode has to be so high. Toph is my favorite character in the entire Avatar universe, and her introduction was no exception to my appreciation for her. At the beginning of Season 2, we're teased when Aang sees a vision of who we later learn is Toph. Although some definitely may have speculated this girl was going to become Aang's earthbending teacher, it isn't revealed fully until the Blind Bandit. I think everyone enjoys seeing a 12-year-old destroy buff guys in a bending tournament, but what I liked even more is how her and Aang initially meet. We see Toph in her prime environment, acting as her confident, tough self. This naturally contrasts with Aang's pacifistic and goofy attitude, which is sort of what leads him to, quote-unquote, win the fight. Toph loses her win streak and is, well, pissed off. Aang couldn't care less about the competition, however. He just wants to ask Toph if she can teach him earthbending. Team Avatar has dinner with the Beifong family, all the while Toph is still angry at Aang. Eventually, the two make up, and we get to hear a little bit more about Toph from her own point of view. It's one of my favorite scenes as it really shows the similarities that Aang and Toph do share, regardless of the poor footing on which they met. To top it all off, or should I say, toff it all off, the episode ends with Toph beating up a bunch of Earthbenders and saving Aang. It's honestly impressive how much they're able to fit into a 22-minute episode, but it never feels rushed or unfinished. It's by far my favorite introduction to a character, and it's ridiculous how many times I've seen it. And my personal favorite episode in all of Avatar The Last Airbender is the finale of Book 2. Similarly to The Blind Bandit, these two episodes contain a lot of action. From Aang training with a guru to Toph inventing metal bending, it's, in my opinion, the most intense, action-packed, and thrilling conclusion to an Avatar season. Azula nearly kills Aang, for crying out loud. Not only are the episodes dramatic and exciting, but there's this eerie vibe that persists throughout most of the season, mostly stemming from the Dai Li and all of Azula's scheming. If the series hadn't already gotten a lot darker than the charming and bright Season 1, this finale really made clear the severity of the war. Zuko's change of heart continues to be hinted at, while viewers are shown how much of an increasing threat Azula is. All the puzzle pieces that are the episodes from Season 2 are packed together in an extraordinary finish, landing it at the very top of my list. Thank you all very much for watching. Please go back and watch Avatar, and I will see you all next time.